Good morning, good afternoon, depending on when you're catching this. It's Thursday morning. This is This Week in your Dawson Creek Mirror community newspaper. On our front, the race against hunger brings in more than 1,500 pounds of food and more than $17,000 for 4 food banks, nonprofits, and soup kitchens in Dawson Creek and serving Dawson Creek and the area. On our front, pictorially speaking, Post Sounds, a bit of a play on the Pet Sounds album from the Beach Boys. One half of the Mechanical Botanicals, James Mannion, road tested some of their new material with a bit of an electric band as opposed to his normal duo/partner. Post and Row, catch that on our front page this week. And speaking of Post and Row, you can vote for all the Dawson Creek Mirror Best of the Best Reader's Choice 2022 awards. Put your ballots in person, meet the staff, grab a burger at Post and Row, but make sure you fill in all the ballot if you can, and if not, most of it to qualify. As well, speaking of some great news, the Chetwynd-Tansey Friendship Shelter Project was granted $200,000 in a provincial initiative to help curb and protect homelessness and the vulnerable during extreme cold weather. Certainly, the North fits that bill. And speaking of fitting the bill, potentially for Dawson Creek City Council, Greg Apollonio, president of Calippi Association and Grand Knight in the Knights of Columbus, has announced his Dawson Creek Council intentions for the fall. He's running. Of course, all kinds of people are running as we're rolling into day 3 of nominations. Who's walked through the door so far? For mayor in Dawson Creek, Darcy Dober. For mayor in Pouce Coupe, Edmund Ed Boyer. As well, for council in Dawson Creek, Sue Kenny, Jeremy, Adam, Earl, Aaron Rogers, Kyle McDonald, Raceland, Van Spronson. More are coming out, as previously we have announced and confirmed earlier in the summer, low when they broke the news to the Dawson Creek Mirror, and then we broke it to the community. Incumbents Charlie Parslow, Amy Kempf are also running. As well, Leonard Hebert is running out in the PRD Area D. He's running for his 3rd term. All kinds of election news is going to be happening, I'm sure. We're going to try to get each council candidate and probably the mayor candidates again, depending on who all announces before September 9th, on the couch for some Club Mirror activity and longer form interviews, so check that out. And as well, speaking of connectivity with readers and Northern BC, I had an interview with Provincial Minister of Citizen Services, Lisa Bear, last week. We had a bit of a chinwag over some coffee, digitally, and of course at a distance virtually, about connectivity in the north, including 5 911 boxes, call boxes, going up the highway all the way to Alaska proper, just because there's no cell service in some of those areas. And then she was also in Chetwynd to announce almost $2 million as a part of a larger package for Northern BC, announcing 3 locations for connectivity and improved internet access just within the district and area of District of Chetwynd. And 5 years for Stacey Rayleigh Glass after a violent 2018 assault and more. Read all about that on our editorial page this week in your physical paper. More great news. NLC signs an MOU with the Taku River Tlingit First Nations. Read all about that as well. Deep into the bones of your Dawson Creek Mirror this week. As well as some positive news. The DC RCMP put out the call, and then within 24 hours or less, found missing woman picking fruit in the Mount Puggins area. That's just an area between here, Dawson Creek and Tumbler Ridge proper. Good news there. Speaking of great news, again coming out of Dawson Creek and athletics, a Dawson Creek powerlifter, April Balzer, is off to the World Championships in the United Kingdom, Manchester, England, across the Atlantic Sea. Bit of a kickoff, fundraising, and more celebration for her at Gridiron. We were there, broke the news again. Exclusives coming to you from your Dawson Creek Mirror online and in the paper as well. And as we said, why Minister Lisa Bear was in town, 5 new 911 call boxes for the Alaska Highway. Read all about that as we get to the back end of your Dawson Creek Mirror. And as well at the back end, an advertiser ongoing. Where the Crawdads Sing is in Malzura this week. Check it out. You've got one more day to check that out before Spider-Man No Way Home, the extra super fun, extra dilly fragilistic edition starts playing this week at the Center Cinema. Check that one out. Get some hot corn. Check out the latest adventures of all the Spider-Men in that one. Spoiler alert. As well, Dawson Creek and Poos Koopy firefighters are combining forces for a 9/11 tribute climb. That'll be happening next weekend after the Labor Day long weekend. And speaking of which, it is Labor Day long weekend, so be safe. One quick note. People ask why we wear the sunglasses. It's purely because we have to have the sun in our eyes for good lighting for the video, and it's hard to read the screen when the sun's in our face without the glasses. So, quick explanation on the sunglasses. I'm Managing Editor Rob Brown. You've just heard some news. Have a great long weekend.